Good afternoon. My name is Miranda Bowersox. I'm Sheriff Corey Honey's Public Information Officer. I'd like to welcome you to this afternoon's press conference. We're going to hold this just like every other one, where each speaker will come up and speak, and then we'll hold questions and answers after that. So please hold your questions until the end. Sheriff Corey Honey.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, my name is Corey Honey, and I'm the Sheriff and Coroner for Butte County. My update tonight will be somewhat short because there's not a lot of new information to report. As I've said in the past, the information that I'm providing you today is the information I have, that is the best information that I have, of course subject to clarification if new information comes in. As of tonight, our unaccounted for persons list is at 10. Which is down 1 from my last briefing. We have currently accounted for 3,271 individuals. The number of new fatalities remains at 0, and our total number of fatalities is at 85, which is no change from our last press briefing. We have identified and made notification to the next of kin of 3 additional individuals. I will read their names now, and as I've said before, my condolences go to the families, and I am going to do my best to pronounce their names correctly. If I mispronounce them, it's no disrespect intended. At the end of this press briefing, we will put out a media release with the correct spellings of the names as well as the individuals' ages and the towns that they lived in. So tonight, I will update our list of identified decedents. They are Sally Gamboa, age 69, from Paradise, Joy Porter, age 72, from Paradise, and Dennis Clark, age 49, from Paradise. The only other update that I have for tonight with regard to our law enforcement critical needs escort program, which we started, that is the program that allows people to call in and request an escort into an area that is still under an evacuation order so that they can take care of certain defined critical needs as set forth in the program as listed on our website. As of to date, we have received 1,894 requests. We have been able to complete 268 of those escorts. 184 of them were cleared because the zones in which the individuals wanted to be escorted to have been opened, so they will be able to go in by themselves unescorted. That's the end of my update for tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, Eric Reinbold, Paradise Police Chief. We are pleased and excited to have been able to open zones 3, 8, and 14 to begin the reentry process on the east side of the town of Paradise, which has opened the Pence Road corridor to residents only for this initial 24-hour period. Tomorrow, that corridor will be open to the general public and will allow the access to the valley for the Magalia residents. I am told that the existing route through Butte Meadows will be maintained as a secondary route for the foreseeable future until an additional route through the town of Paradise is opened. I just want to reinforce the fact that the town of Paradise and the Paradise Police Department is committed to fulfilling our mission of serving the citizens of the town of Paradise, and will continue to do so through this process. We will maintain a high level of law enforcement presence throughout the evacuation zones and those zones that have been open to the citizens and the general public. I do want to remind everyone that there are still a lot of hazards up there. We ask that you drive at a reduced speed, watch for utility crews, watch for equipment, and be mindful of your fellow citizens and everybody trying to help restore our community. So thank you, and I'll be available for questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dennis McAleese. I'm a director with PG&E supporting our restoration efforts here in Butte County. Thank you for the opportunity to update you on our progress. Our primary focus continues to be making the area safe and restoring service in the impacted areas as soon and as safely as possible. We are partnering with local agencies and community leaders to prioritize restoration plans. PG&E has more than 4,000 employees, contractors, and mutual assistance personnel dedicated to rebuilding our gas and electric infrastructure in Butte County. We have mutual assistance from utilities as far away as Hawaii and Florida. We are part of this community, and our employees have also been affected. 95 of them have lost their homes, and many are here working to support the restoration effort. Each day, we make progress in restoring service to our customers. Recently, we've restored power to 2 fire stations in Butte Creek Canyon and to Magalia Post Office. Progress like this will continue in the coming weeks, and tonight I want to share with you our restoration schedule. Please understand that this timeline is heavily dependent on weather. For electric service, we estimate restoring power to nearly all customers who can receive it by the end of this month. For gas service, our estimate is to restore gas service to all of those who can receive it during the first quarter of the year. It's important to note that the service restoration is ongoing. This means some customers will receive gas and electric service sooner. Put another way, all customers will not be restored at the same time. It will be done sequentially. We have the resources to complete the work. Our biggest challenges remain weather and removing damaged trees. We also want to share with you the progress we've made in the past 28 days. Let's start with electric service. In Paradise, we've restored the Paradise Electric substation and have rebuilt the electric backbone circuits. We've also restored the majority of our mainline ties to the 4 circuits from the substation. This has enabled us to repower critical areas of Paradise, including the lower Skyway corridor, parts of Clark Road, Paradise Town Hall, and the police and fire stations. We've also provided temporary power to several critical customers, including Del Oro Water Treatment and Supply Facilities, Adventist Health Clinic, radio stations, Sierra Nevada's brewery's temporary housing site, and cell towers. We're in the process of building the smaller lines that go to the individual homes and businesses, but again, those lines cannot be re-energized until all hazardous trees have been removed. As for natural gas service, we've completed the major damage assessment of our facilities. As we work through the restoration process, we are providing portable gas service for critical customers in the area, including the town hall, police and fire stations, and to the Feather River Health Center. Going forward, we will need to safely disconnect service to all damaged and destroyed structures. As that work is completed, we will test the integrity of the main gas lines serving the town, repair where needed, and retest. Then we will begin restoring gas service, including the final step of relighting pilots. Now if we can turn to your PG&E account. We have canceled billing in the area for now. We are making necessary account adjustments to ensure the final balance for red-tagged properties is 0. For those of you who have service restored to your home or business, we will have more information in the coming days on how we will be contacting you and how you can contact us on the exact timing of restoration. We are also offering billing support, credit relief, and financial assistance to customers. For more on customer resources, we encourage you to call 800-743-5000. Again, that's 800-743-5000. There is a designated prompt for customers impacted by the Camp Fire. I'd like to echo and support what we've heard from Sheriff Honey and Paradise Police Chief Reinbold, which is that there are still many tree hazards in the area. We are clearing those hazards ahead of restoration and repopulation. We understand this is the first step in a long process. The next step will be the rebuilding phase. What we are putting in place now is a temporary plan, but one that is built to the highest safety standards to allow electric and gas service to be restored to those customers who can receive it. We are fully committed to working with the community to rebuild the infrastructure in a way that reflects the future needs of the town of Paradise. We know those plans will take time to develop, and we are here to partner on what the permanent infrastructure will look like when you are ready. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Preston Dickinson. I'm an independent contractor with AT&T. AT&T has made significant progress replacing damaged or destroyed equipment throughout Paradise and surrounding areas. Our wireless service has been fully restored to sites impacted by the Camp Fire. We are now focused on helping the Paradise community and our customers continue to recover, start to rebuild, and return to their homes. After the fire, we have removed approximately 200 miles of damaged cable from the Paradise area. We have more than 150 technicians in Paradise deployed to safely restore service as quickly as possible. We have quadrupled our resources and logistical support to the Paradise area. AT&T thanks our local elected officials, community leaders, and utilities for helping to expedite the repair and restore process. AT&T will continue to work with local leaders to restore services and rebuild our network. I would just also like to remind those that when re-entering the community, please be conscious of the utility trucks in the area and be safe.
I'm Philip Arndt, Comcast Director of Government Affairs. From the outset of this crisis, Comcast has worked in partnership with local authorities as well as utility and other infrastructure and service providers to ensure that our restoration efforts can take place quickly while working within safety guidelines and other incident response protocols. Comcast has been working closely with CAL FIRE and the Butte Sheriff's Office since the fire broke out and throughout the response and recovery period. We have provided free access to over 51,000 Wi-Fi spots and provided internet and other services to evacuation centers. Currently, we are working diligently to remove many miles of aerial plant and other equipment that was damaged by the fire. It continues to be a complex task to ensure that every utility has the opportunity to safely work on their facilities. Comcast has brought in crews from all over Northern California to help with the cleanup, and I'm glad to say we continue to make significant progress. As always, safety is of paramount concern. We look forward to continuing to work with the Sheriff's Office and other local authorities and other utilities to complete the task. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ed Fortner. I'm the district manager at the Paradise Irrigation District. We have, I'll echo the comments from the other utilities that safety is first and foremost, paramount in the recovery effort. And it has been a very dangerous area to work in. We have recovered a large amount of our system. There was certainly serious impact to our infrastructure, and we're still somewhat in the assessment mode. But we have restored water down Clark, the greater part of Clark, Skyway, and most recently Pence. And we're proud of that work. I'd also like to point out that we never stopped treating water throughout the entire event, and a couple of the water plant operators that stayed through the fire, against my orders, by the way, I consider heroes for helping fight the fire and save structures and lives. Paradise Irrigation District is a part of this community. We've been around since 1916, and we will recover our district just as the town has recovered, and we'll do it by partnering with the town, the county, and all the other state and federal folks who are here to help us, and they're doing a great job helping us. Our friends at Cal OES and FEMA, the sheriff and local PD, and all the firefighters, of course. I'm sure I'm leaving out folks, but we're working together to recover this system and recover the town. I need to remind our customers and folks who are back in the area that we're actually only serving a few services at this point: the police department, fire, town hall, the hospital. But as we restore services, we are in fact under a boil water advisory, and folks need to boil your water before you drink it. We advise that you drink bottled water in the interim. That notice is on our website. That's pidwater.com. And that's your best avenue at this point to contact us with any service requests or renewal of service. There is an email portal link on our website, and right now we're in temporary offices in Chico. You can reach us by phone. We're at 530-342-3101, but the best way to make your request is through the email portal. It goes directly to our customer service reps, and we'll get on those right away. I want to speak, we have a board meeting tonight, by the way. That's a special call meeting because we can't occupy our own buildings in Paradise either. Our meeting is in Durham at 9319 Midway Road, if anyone would like to attend, at 6:30 p.m. tonight. And one of the items on the agenda tonight is to discuss our rates and revenues. As you can imagine, we lost all our customers, so we're trying to figure out on the fly how we're going to survive as a district, but we feel confident with the help that we're hoping to get from the state and federal officials that we'll survive. There's a standby rate, $20 a month rate that there's been a lot of misinformation and confusion about in the emergency aftermath recently, and that will be on the agenda tonight for discussion at the board. And if you'd like further information on that, you can, that's also posted, a notice is posted on our website that further explains that rate. You can, in fact, cancel that rate by notifying us that you'd like to pull your water meter, and then that rate will go away. We advise folks to pay that rate because it is a readiness for service when you come back to build, but we can discuss that further if you'd like to inquire further. Just like to thank again the folks who've worked together so hard in these past several weeks to recover all the utilities. I think the public needs to know just how difficult a task it has been, and folks have worked around the clock, long hours and no days off. And I know I'd like to thank our PID employees in particular, Cal Water, who's worked with us in mutual aid agreements, and all the folks that have spoken before me and after me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Star Brown. I'm serving as the lead of the Donations and Volunteer Division. Since the beginning of the campfire, volunteers and donations have played a really vital role in providing life-saving and life-sustaining support to survivors and to their animals. We're now in a transition from the immediate need of the response to addressing the really extensive challenges of recovery. There's been an amazing outpouring of donations and a desire to serve and support over the last several weeks. The Donations and Volunteer Division has worked as quickly as possible to develop processes to utilize this outpouring in the most impactful way for our survivors and in a way that will capture the scope and cost value of donated resources, which is really important. The county's official website, buttecountyrecovers.org, now contains a link entitled Donate/Volunteer. Anyone that is desiring of making a donation of new goods should click on that link to complete a donation submission. Your offer will be assessed by the Donations Division, and if a need related to your offer is identified, an organization or agency representative interested in that donation will contact you. As we transition into recovery, we would like to ask for continued volunteer support. Volunteers will continue to be an essential resource. We will be looking to identify both individual volunteers as well as volunteer groups. To volunteer, go to the county's official website, buttecountyrecovers.org, and click on the link that says Donate Volunteers to view volunteer opportunities and to sign up for shifts. Once you sign up, you'll receive further instructions on the next steps to take. For organizations utilizing volunteers or interested in posting volunteer opportunities, you can contact the Volunteer Opportunities Coordinator at 530-636-0259. That hotline will be staffed from 7 o'clock a.m. to 6:00 p.m. 7 days a week to start. This information that I'm just indicated to you is also found on the county's official website, buttecountyrecovers.org, and it will be under the link entitled Donate Volunteer. Distribution sites are currently available for fire survivors to obtain relief supplies. If you're a survivor of the campfire and are in need of supplies, 4 current distribution sites are provided on the county's website. This is the latest information available, and just know that it may be subject to change by the organizations offering these services, but we will advise and update the website as soon as we're made aware of any changes. The holiday season is here, and many people and many phone calls that we get are asking where holiday donations can be made to help families impacted by the fire. The best way to help recovery victims and survivors is through monetary donations to trusted organizations. Please use trusted organizations for monetary donations to avoid potential scams. The county's official website, buttecountyrecovers.org, has an initial list of agencies who are accepting monetary donations for campfire relief efforts. Nonprofit organizations that have a 501c3 designation and are currently providing direct response or recovery support for campfire survivors may complete and submit an application to be included on that list. The application and the submission instructions can be found on the county's website within the Donate Volunteer link. As the campfire response has progressed, the value of coordinated and unified approach to recovery cannot be overstated. A key part of this response has been the many community service agencies, faith-based organizations, service organizations, and generous people in Butte County and beyond who are working hard to help individuals and families affected by this disaster. Please know, even though you don't have a direct line into us and us to you, that you are all appreciated, and no words of gratitude will adequately reflect that appreciation. Thank you so very much for your support.
Good evening. My name is Eric Lamoureux. I'm the Senior State Official for Cal OES, the Governor's Office of Emergency Services. Our agency continues to remain actively engaged here in Butte County and throughout the town of Paradise, supporting a number of critical recovery operations. We have staff helping Butte County officials feed and care for the numerous animals that are sheltered and sheltered in place in the burned areas. We continue to work with our partners at the federal government to identify locations where we may be able to house individuals in the coming days and weeks. And our most active effort right now is in preparing for the largest debris operation that we've conducted in the state's history. Our partners from the US EPA will come up after me to talk about the effort that's underway to remove household hazardous waste and toxic materials from the site. We are developing our plans to remove the remainder of the debris once we have permission from property owners. Let me stress that even after the HHW sweeps have occurred and those toxic materials have been removed, your home site is by no means safe. It's critical that we get in there with your permission and remove the remaining ash and debris from your home site. We're currently working to identify the offices that we'll work out of in the city of Chico, where you'll be able to interact with us on a daily basis. We're establishing operational facilities where we'll be sorting debris and transporting it. Some of that debris, most of our concrete and metal debris, is going to be shipped out of state by rail. The remainder of the debris is going to be trucked to landfills south of Butte County throughout California. So we're working on developing all those plans with the goal of beginning to move debris off home sites by January 14th. Our hope is that by the latter part of January, we will see the first home sites cleared in Butte County and the town of Paradise. So we're working on some very aggressive targets to have that operation happening in early January. We hope to be complete with the total operation within 9 to 12 months. And we'll be working closely with our contractors to ensure that we can have the maximum number of crews operating throughout Butte County as safely and efficiently as possible. And to that end, we'll be working with Caltrans and the CHP, who will be coordinating with their local partners in both law enforcement and transportation to ensure that we're using appropriate routes and that all of our vehicles and equipment are operating in a safe fashion. So look forward to answering any further questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Steve Kalinag with the U.S. EPA. The EPA is working with California Department of Toxics and Substance Control and Butte County Environmental Health to implement phase 1 of the debris removal, which is the household hazardous waste assessments and removal. Our work is being closely coordinated and communicated with the Town of Paradise Police Department and agencies from Butte County. I want to emphasize that where our teams are going to be going are into communities and neighborhoods in the impacted area where evacuation orders have been lifted, and at a time where residents have had the opportunity to visit their property and assess the situation there and remove what belongings they can. Our teams are comprised of approximately 8 to 10 people in marked vehicles. I want to emphasize to the community, you will see EPA stickers and decals on many vehicles up there, and our contractors will have ID as well. How to track where we are, where we're going, and when we're done. There are going to be a variety of different venues to get that information. Certainly the website, ButteCountyRecovers.org, will be one of the several resources to determine where we've been and where we're going, and if we're done with a particular parcel of property. One of the most obvious ways a property owner can determine that if we've been there is when our teams have completed their removal activities, we'll stake with a placard in the front part of the parcel that we've done the work and is now ready for the phase 2 portion. Where we're going, again, on the various websites, but we will be communicating with Butte County agencies, and I understand that they may be even tweeting out our next destinations. And finally, we began work this week with teams in the Lower Pence and Lower Clark neighborhood, and over the coming days we'll be moving to Morgan Ridge, Lower Neal, and by this weekend I believe our teams will be able to start working in the Lower Honey Run area. And that's my update for tonight. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Casey Hatcher, and I'm a Public Information Officer with Butte County. You've heard Cal OES talk a little bit about phase 2 of the debris removal program, and I wanted to let you know that Butte County and the Town of Paradise are working with our state and federal partners to facilitate safe removal and handling of the debris and ash. So to sign up for phase 2 of the program, private property owners need to complete what's called a right of entry form. You'll hear this called the ROE form. This is so that you can grant Cal Recycle and its contractors access to your private property to conduct that debris removal. The goal that we have set is to have these ROEs completed and submitted by all of the private property owners that plan to participate in the program by January 31st of next year. The ROE is ready. It's available and online at ButteCountyRecovers.org/debris removal. You can go there now and print that form directly from the website. The form includes a checklist, so you know exactly what items you need in order to complete that ROE, such as your identification and your insurance. So please go to the website and download that form and take a look at that checklist and begin to fill it out. If you do not have the ability to print it directly from the website, copies of it can be provided or picked up at the Disaster Recovery Center in Chico. Once that form is complete, the best way to return it is at the ROE Center. That ROE Center will open Monday, December 10th, and is located at 202 Mira Loma Drive in Oroville. It will be open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday until the deadline on January 31st. When you bring your ROE to the center, staff will be able to take a look at it and review it for completeness and answer any questions you might have about the ROE or the debris program. We know that not everybody will be able to come to the ROE Center in person, so you can also drop your form off at the Disaster Recovery Center in Chico, or you can mail it directly to the Butte County Environmental Health Division at 202 Mira Loma Drive in Oroville, zip code 95965. You can also email completed forms to roe@buttecounty.net, but the best way is to come to the ROE Center because you can have that form reviewed for completeness and ask questions. In addition, starting Monday, December 10th, you can also call the ROE Center at 530-552-3155. You can ask questions about the ROE as well as the debris program. We know that property owners are going to have questions about the program, how to fill out the right of entry form, and some of those details. We will have community meetings in the coming weeks to be able to present information as well as answer those questions. We will let the community know about these meetings on our website at buttecountyrecovers.org. We will also use our email list to notify people about these dates. We'll use local media outlets such as the one you're watching now, and we will post flyers in the community. We look forward to helping everybody understand the debris program and helping you to complete your right of entry form. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Hannes. I'm the Deputy Federal Coordinating Officer for the Campfire event and here as the Senior Federal Official coordinating the federal response in support of the state of California and Butte County. I want to rattle off a few statistics real quick for you. Update from last night. Currently, $33.5 million has been approved for survivors in Butte County. Over 10,000 home inspections have been completed, and 6,000 families are receiving our rental assistance at this time. Over 1,400 families are approved and authorized to stay in our TSA program. Currently, only 147, though, are taking advantage of that. And we encourage all of you who may be eligible for that to take advantage of that TSA program. If you have questions, you can always stop by the DRC in Chico or in Oroville, or you can call the 1-800-621-3362 to get that information. On average, the big question always comes up, insurance versus FEMA assistance. FEMA assistance is not there to be your insurance. It is there to be the seed money to the start of a recovery for an event. Traditionally, we see about an average rate of about $4,500 in FEMA grants as we compile all the data over an event. Give you an idea of the significance of this event, our average grant is overing $10,000. And so we know the significance of this event, and we're going to be here, and it's going to take additional actions, not only by the federal agencies led by FEMA, but more importantly by the state of California, Cal OES, Butte County, Paradise, Concow, Magalia, and the other impacted communities, as well as the outlying cities that are supporting you of Chico and Oroville, Gridley, who are stepping up and providing that additional assistance to the residents that were impacted. So as you can see, it's not just FEMA as the solution, but it's a whole community effort that has to come together to ensure that we provide you what you need, when you need it, and in a way that you need it. There's been many questions about our FEMA purchased travel trailers or manufactured housing units. As Eric mentioned earlier, we are working closely together with local communities to identify sites where we may have to, as a last resort, what we call build group sites. We continue to work through that process expeditiously. Your local governments are working very closely with us to pass necessary ordinances to make sure that we can go in there and do things properly, not only for you, but to ensure that the safety and security of the citizens who may be impacted by us moving in nearby. We're also looking at commercial sites where we can place travel trailers or sometimes manufactured housing units that we are purchasing here in state as a way to expedite the ability to get into some type of more stable housing than where folks may be with family and friends, or most assuredly those in shelters. We want to be able to move them into the right type of living arrangements. But let me make this perfectly clear. As we work with these commercial sites from Redding through Sacramento, we are ensuring that they are not asking individuals to move out to make room for us. Many of those trailer parks have survivors in them now. They were resilient. They were able to get their fifth wheel or their travel trailer or purchase or rent one, and they're taking up those sites. We will not take those sites from those individuals. We will work with those property owners to ensure that that does not incur, and if we see that it's incurring, we will look at terminating any type of assistance that we're working with those individuals. To date, we've had a few little hiccups, but we've addressed those issues, and I think we're moving forward in a positive manner. Again, FEMA is not the whole solution. We are not here to lead the effort. We are here in direct support of a federally supported, state-managed, locally executed recovery. And I'll be ready to answer questions once they occur.
Okay, we're going to begin our question and answer session. Does anybody have any questions for Sheriff Corey Honey?
So my office is not responsible for policing the Red Cross Center at Silver Dollar. That's the California Highway Patrol. I know that there are some discussions about that going on. I believe that there was meetings today to talk about security as well as a law enforcement presence right there, but I haven't been updated on that.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Sure. I'm not sure if this is for you or Chief Reinhold, but any estimate on when all of Paradise will be open for homeowners and residents to view the property at this point?
I'll ask the chief if he wants to answer it. I suspect the answer is probably going to be the same either way, but you want Chief, they'd like to know if there's an anticipated time when the rest of Paradise will be open.
We tried to generally address that last night. Of course, we all know how long it's taken to get to the point where we can open the Pence Road corridor for residents to go in and then use that as a thoroughfare to get to Magalia. There's a significant amount of work that needs to be done, and with Pence Road corridor opening, there's still going to be a lot of work going on over there, but we have shifted a significant amount of resources into the interior of Paradise. So I don't have a definitive timeline on that, but I would say that within a couple of weeks, we're going to have a very good idea as to what that looks like. Now, having said a couple of weeks, that doesn't mean that we don't make significant progress in other zones that we can begin to reopen and allow the reentry process to take place. So that's the best I can do for you.
Can I follow up with you on today from the reopening? Any difficulties, any problems that came out of that?
There was a couple of minor glitches and some traffic related issues, but nothing major. I think everybody was respectful. They were extremely grateful for the opportunity to be able to get back and see their properties, and some of them to see their residents. But I think that the information given to them was beneficial, and they got their protective equipment. I think it went very smooth overall. Ma'am. I don't have those numbers. I'm sorry.
Look that up on the Cal Fire, the damage report estimate.
So the answer to the question of the number and percentage of homes that were damaged or destroyed and what's remaining, that information's on the CAL FIRE website. Any other questions? Thank you.
Are there any questions for Dennis McAleese from PG&E?
For residents who have surviving homes, will some of them not have services until the next quarter?
The potential for the, well, I'll reiterate what I said earlier. We expect to have the electric restoration complete by the end of this year, and the gas restoration will extend into Q1 of next year.
Is it still considered safe for residents to repopulate their homes even without full services?
Both PG&E and I think the Sheriff's Office have advised of the hazards that exist currently, and as the conditions change out there, I think we'll continue to update through this medium.
Has any direction been given to the proposal to bury some of the power lines underground when relaying some of the power lines for PG&E throughout Paradise and Gilead?
So I can answer that in two parts. What we're doing now is a temporary restoration to get power, both electric and gas, back to those homes that can take it over the period of time that we described. However, as the actual rebuild of the municipality of Paradise takes place, we're going to be hopefully at the table with the town leaders, helping to plan that out, and those conversations will be part of that discussion.
And when will those meetings take place?
I think they'll take place when the municipality is ready to begin having those dialogues.
Thank you.
Dennis, Giacomo Luca, ABC 10 News in Sacramento. So we went back to some of the folks that were visiting their homes for the first time since the fire, and some do have power. Should they turn their power off, keep it on? Is there any safety hazards that could be in play if they attempt to use the gas or those things to affect work?
So the gas, I'll differentiate between gas and electric. The gas for the entire town of Paradise has been shut off. It's been shut off for safety precautions. The electric restoration is taking place and is beginning to take place, or has been taking place for several weeks and is working its way through the town. We anticipate the end of the year for the entire town of Paradise. I would suggest people call into the 800 number that I gave out earlier if they have questions or concerns around their current situation. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions for Preston Dickinson from AT&T? Philip Arndt from Comcast? Ed Fortner from Paradise Irrigation District?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thanks for the briefing earlier. Is there any estimate when water would be back open throughout Paradise? Any estimates at this point when you can fully restore that service?
No definitive estimates. I want to repeat that there's a boil water advisory, and we're going to be very cautious about when and how to lift that. There's a lot of lessons learned from other municipalities who've been affected by fires, wildfires in California, and some of the potential contamination that can occur as a result of that. So we're being very careful with that. I would say that we could probably reflect the PG&E spokesperson in regards to potential for getting some partial recovery by year's end, and hopefully full recovery in the first quarter of 19. It could happen sooner than that, and a lot of it depends on where the homes are and what kind of clusters. Some of these are very isolated, and those could be more difficult. But we're working with the water boards and our regulators to help define the parameters where we could restore service as quickly as possible to as many people as possible. But again, in the short term, folks should drink bottled water and use our water for only secondary purposes, showering and flushing toilets.
And to clarify, is it available throughout now, but it's just under a boil order, or is there locations where it's not available?
We only have a few services reestablished. That's at Town Hall and the Police Department, Fire Department, and the Feather River Hospital. We have our main arteries pressurized down Pence and Clark and Skyway. So we're still in the process of restoring pressurized service to our water mains, but as far as our services, we only have a few active services at this point for the crucial buildings.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions? Thank you.
Are there any questions for Star Brown regarding volunteers and donations? How about Eric Lamoureux from Cal OES? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Sir, I was wondering, are plans being made for potential flooding this winter and into the rainy season, such as evacuation plans and even for an emergency or something like that?
Well, the state's been supporting the county in implementing measures in the watershed to prevent runoff into creeks and streams and other critical areas. In terms of evacuation plan, it's a question probably better posed to local law enforcement, fire, and emergency management.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Are there any questions for Steve Kaladnog from the EPA? How about Casey Hatcher on the right of entry process? And Kevin Hannes from FEMA?
Yes, ma'am.
Just wondering if you have any estimates on the breakdown of who is applying for FEMA assistance, whether they be renters versus homeowners. Are more renters signing up for assistance than homeowners because theoretically they have private insurance?
So what we're seeing right now is an unprecedented success in registering what we think is probably about 85% of the entire population that was impacted by the fire. We're a little over 19,000 registrations right now, and so that's families that have registered. There is a split. It's about 50-50 renters things, but that's not important because it doesn't impact the type of assistance that they get at this point. As we work through it, those do potentially have an impact, but right now we feel very comfortable with where we are registration. We still encourage everybody who hasn't registered to register with us. 1-800-621-3362, visiting the Disaster Recovery Center, disasterassistance.gov. Those are good places to hit to stay in touch with us and to be that active participant in your recovery. All right, thank you all.
Okay, this concludes our question and answer session. I'd like to let you guys know that future press conferences will be held on a as-needed basis. Information will continue to be released through press releases, our social media channels, as well as the Butte County Recovers website. And also, residents can call 211 to be directed to information. So thank you very much for coming.